If someone had told me a parking lot goodbye under a graduation cap would haunt my inbox 5 years later, I would have rolled my eyes at fate. Tuesday arrived cold, gray, and forgettable, right up until the elevator slid open and my past stepped out like it owned the room. She didn't notice me at first. Her eyes were fixed on the folder in her hands, lips parted a fraction, as if rehearsing every line she'd deliver in the meeting. I recognized that expression. I'd studied it once. I'd kissed it under the stars 5 years ago, barefoot in the high school gym parking lot, shaking with a love we were too young to name. Then, on graduation day, she shattered me. No warning. No apology. Only a breath against my ear, a whisper so quiet it erased everything we'd been. I'm sorry. I can't do this anymore. Then silence, disappearance, a heartbreak that cracked my world and never healed right. And now here she was. Lena Whitaker, my first love, my worst goodbye, and now my wife's employee. I didn't speak. I watched her step into the boardroom with her sleek ponytail, her designer blazer, and her perfectly put together lie of a life. My heart pounded so hard I could barely hear the introductions. But I heard her voice, still soft, still low, still the one I dreamed of yelling at and kissing in equal measure. My wife, Vivian, sat beside me at the head of the table. Powerful, beautiful, cold in a way that made people respect her or fear her. She reached for my hand under the table and squeezed it, her version of affection in front of others. "This is Lena," she said. She just joined the team as the new client strategist. I smiled and it felt like swallowing glass. Lena's eyes finally landed on me. Her breath caught just for a second. She covered it well, but not fast enough. I saw the recognition, the panic, the guilt. "Mrs. Cross," she said carefully, nodding in my direction. Vivian corrected her. "You can call her Ava." Lena didn't. She sat 3 seats down and didn't look at me again for the rest of the meeting. But I looked at her. I could not. 5 years had changed her. Her jaw sharper, her posture straighter, but the way her fingers tapped the table nervously, that was the same. The way she chewed the inside of her cheek when someone else was talking too long, still her. The way I still felt her name burning in the back of my throat, unforgivable. After the meeting, I stepped into the hallway and pressed my hand against the cold wall, trying to breathe. Vivian walked by a moment later. "You okay?" "Just a little lightheaded. I told you not to skip breakfast." She kissed my cheek and walked away. I waited until she turned the corner before I said it wasn't breakfast. That afternoon, I found Lena alone in the break room. Her back to me, her hands gripping the counter like it was the only thing keeping her upright. I didn't plan on speaking. I just wanted to see if she'd acknowledge me, but then she turned around and her eyes locked on mine like no time had passed. "I didn't know it was you," she said. "Of course you didn't. I wouldn't have taken the job if what? If I'd known you were her. Her wife." She flinched. "Yeah. Well, surprise. Ava, don't." She took a breath. "I never wanted to hurt you, but you did." "I know. And now you're here working under my wife, standing in front of me like nothing happened." "Everything happened." "Not everything," I said bitterly. "The apology never did." She swallowed. "Then let me say it now." "Don't you dare," I hissed. "Not here. Not while I'm still trying to remember how to hate you properly." She blinked and tears shimmered in her eyes. I turned to leave. "Wait," she said. I stopped. "Does she know that you broke my heart 5 years ago and then walked back into my life like a ghost in heels?" "No, she doesn't." "Are you going to tell her?" "Should I?" Lena stared at me like she had no answer. And I hated her all over again for how much that hurt. I walked away without waiting for more. But all I could think about was her voice, her face, her hand reaching out like she still had a right to touch me. And the fact that I wasn't sure if I wanted to destroy her or kiss her. I tried to forget her again. I really did. But how do you forget someone who's suddenly everywhere? In the elevator, in meetings, walking down the hallway with a cup of coffee that used to be mine, made just the way I like it. I knew it was stupid, petty, even delusional. But I saw her fingerprints in things. The tone of a memo, the playlist in the break room, the soft laugh down the hall that made my chest tighten with something that was definitely not longing. I kept telling myself I was fine, that the woman I loved was Vivian, that Lena was the past. But then Vivian got called to a week-long conference in Riverton, and Lena was assigned to help prep her clients in her absence, which meant she was assigned to me. "We can ask someone else," Vivian had said before leaving. "If it's weird, it's not weird." I lied. It's business. Good, she replied, kissing my forehead. She's talented. I think you two will work well together. I smiled like the world wasn't already unraveling in my hands. The first day without Vivian was quiet, too quiet. Lena kept her distance. Professional, efficient, but I could feel her watching me when she thought I wasn't looking. And every time she got too close, I remembered how her hand used to fit in mine. How her breath used to hitch when I kissed her throat. How she once said, "I see my whole future when I look at you." And then she left. On the second day, we worked late. Everyone else had gone home. I stayed in the office, half because of the deadline, half because going home to an empty house didn't feel right. Lena knocked lightly on the door before stepping in. "I have the projections. Leave them on the desk. Can we talk about work?" "No." I looked up then. "No." She didn't move. "Please." I exhaled through my nose. "Say whatever you need to say, then leave." "I was 17, she started. "So was I." "I was scared of what?" "Of loving you too much. Of not being enough. Of leaving that town and not knowing who I was without you. So you punished me for it. I thought I was saving you. You broke me. I broke me, too." She sat down across from me. "Close. Too close. I never stopped thinking about you. That's not fair. Nothing about this is." I clenched my jaw. "You left me alone at the edge of my future. You didn't even have the courage to say goodbye properly." "I know. Do you?" "I wake up every day with it." "Good." We were quiet for a long time. Then softer, she said. "Does she make you happy?" "She makes me feel safe." "But does she see you?" I looked away. "That's none of your business." "It used to be everything to me." "Used to." She stood, walked toward the window. "I didn't expect to see you again, but the second I did, it felt like someone ripped the breath out of my lungs." "Then maybe you shouldn't breathe near me." "Do you hate me?" "I want to, but you don't." "I didn't say that." "You didn't have to." She turned, walked toward me again. I stood to keep distance, but she stopped just inches away. "Do you still dream about me?" she asked. "No, liar." My throat burned. "You don't get to talk to me like this. I don't know how else to talk to you. I've rehearsed 1,000 versions of this conversation and none of them feel like enough. Because they aren't, then what do I do? You stay away from me. Even if I can't, especially then." Her eyes dropped to my lips. I saw it, felt it, the shift in the air. The space between us vibrated like tension straining to snap. "Ava," she whispered. "Don't." But I didn't move. I couldn't. She leaned forward slowly, hesitantly, like she needed permission she hadn't earned. I felt the heat of her mouth just a breath away. And then I stepped back. "Meeting's over," I said. She nodded, eyes heavy with something she couldn't speak. She walked out. And the second the door closed, I sat back down and pressed my fingers to my lips because I could still feel her there. And I hated how much I wanted more. I tried to forget again, to bury it under work routine, the sound of Vivian's voice on the phone each night asking about numbers, not feelings. I told her everything was fine, that Lena was being professional, that I was too busy to notice anything else. Lies. Small, smooth ones. The kind that slide down easy until they settle in your gut like acid. I avoided Lena for 2 days. Ignored her emails. Reassigned tasks. Took late lunches. But the problem with history is that it has a way of finding you even in the quiet. On Thursday, she trapped me in the file room. The door clicked shut behind her. I didn't turn. "This is a bad idea," I said, flat. "I just want to talk." That's exactly the problem. I can't keep pretending any of this is normal. Then pretend somewhere else. "Ava, don't." I faced her. "You don't get to force your way back into my life just because you regret walking out. You don't get to look at me like that when I've spent 5 years trying to unlearn the way you loved me." "And did I what? Unlearn it?" Her voice splintered. I stared at her, furious at how exposed she looked, how familiar, how still mine in ways I wish she wasn't. "I don't love you anymore." "That isn't what I asked." "Then stop asking questions you don't actually want answered." "But I do want them." Too late. She stepped closer. "What are you so afraid of?" "That you'll ruin me again." "Then let me prove I won't." "You don't get that chance." "Why not?" "Because I'm married to someone who doesn't know how to look at you the way I do." "Stop." "Who doesn't know how to make you lose your breath just by standing close." "Stop it." "Who doesn't make your voice shake when you say their name?" "You don't know anything about my marriage." You're right, but I know you. No, you used to. She reached for my hand and I pulled away like she burned. Her face twisted. You're not over me. And what if I'm not? What would you even do with that? Everything, she whispered. I stared at her. Her eyes were wet but steady. Her jaw clenched. She looked like someone who'd finally figured out what they lost and couldn't bear to lose it again. And I hated her for it because I wanted her still. Even now, I wanted to pin her against that door and kiss her until her name felt like mine again. I wanted to hate her with my hands, but I couldn't. I stepped back. You should go, Ava, now. She nodded slowly, walked to the door. Just before she opened it, she turned. I was going to ask if we could talk somewhere neutral, a coffee shop, just to clear the air, but I can see you're not ready. You think this is about readiness? I think this is about fear. No, Lena, this is about control. And for once, I'm the one holding it. The door shut softly behind her. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I sat down in that empty room, heart hammering, and whispered to the silence, why do I still want her? That night, I went home and Vivian called from the hotel. Her voice was warm, curious, loving in the way she thought love was supposed to sound. How's the week going? She asked. Productive. And Lena? She's good at what she does. That's why I hired her. Of course. I trust you. You know, she added suddenly. I hope so. No, I mean it. I trust you to be honest, to be loyal. I am good. She paused. I know I'm not always easy. You're who you are. And I love you. I love you, too. I lied. Or maybe not. Maybe I did. But it didn't feel the same. It didn't ache. It didn't burn. I hung up and stared at the ceiling for hours because the truth was simple and cruel. Lena had broken my heart. Vivian had helped me stitch it back together. But somewhere in between the scar tissue, something still beat only for her. I didn't intend to see her again that weekend. Vivian had just gotten back, all sharp heels and jet lag, her mood swinging between affection and critique. You didn't water the orchids, she said as she walked through the house. You said they were dying anyway. Still, it's about effort. I apologized. She didn't respond. We had dinner in silence. She told me about the conference, about a man who missed her during a panel about the hotel food. I nodded at the right places, smiled on cue, pretended I hadn't spent half the week holding back the urge to fall apart in a supply closet. That night, she kissed me like it was routine, like brushing her teeth. I let her. I closed my eyes and tried not to think of another mouth, another name, another version of myself that once trembled under Lena's fingertips. I hated that I still remembered the rhythm of it. Sunday morning came with rain. I offered to pick up breakfast while Vivian stayed in bed. Hey, if you're enjoying this story, go ahead and drop a like to help us grow even more. And let me know in the comments. On a scale from 0 to 10, what score would you give this story so far? Your feedback makes all the difference. I didn't plan the detour, but somehow I ended up in front of a bookstore across town. I saw her before I walked in, sitting near the window, fingers tracing the rim of a coffee cup, a novel half read beside her. She looked lighter, out of place, like this world wasn't allowed to see her soft. I should have walked away, but I didn't. The bell above the door chimed. Her head snapped up. Our eyes met. And just like that, my pulse betrayed me. She stood slowly. You came. I didn't mean to. But you're here. Only for a minute. I'll take it. I sat across from her. She looked at me like I was still hers, and I hated how much I wanted to believe that. You read this? I asked, nodding to the book. Trying to. My mind's elsewhere. Mine, too. On me. Don't push your luck. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. You're still angry. I'm still everything. I wish I could take it back. You can't. Then let me offer something else. What? The truth. The truth should have come 5 years ago. I didn't have the words then. And now I don't have anything left to lose. I watched her closely. Why are you doing this? Because seeing you again broke something open. And I'm tired of pretending I'm not still bleeding. I swallowed hard. This doesn't change anything. Then why did you come? I didn't answer because I didn't know. Or maybe I did. Maybe I just didn't want to say it out loud. Ava, she said softly. Tell me you don't feel it. Feel what? This. Her hand brushed mine across the table. Barely there, but I felt it like lightning. I pulled away. We're in public. So I'm married, but not blind, not numb. You don't get to judge my life. I'm not. I know that look in your eyes. You used to give it to me and now I give it to her, do you? Stop. She leaned in. Just admit it. One thing, say you miss me. I miss who I was with you. I snapped. Not you. She didn't flinch. Just nodded slowly. Fair enough. I stood. This was a mistake. Maybe, but it wasn't a lie. Goodbye, Lena. You said that once already, and maybe I'll say it again until it finally sticks. I left. Heart pounding, legs trembling. I drove home too fast, too angry, too turned on. Vivian was in the shower when I got back. I sat on the edge of the bed, fingers still buzzing from a touch that never fully happened. I told myself it was nothing, just nostalgia, just guilt. But that night, when Vivian rolled over in her sleep and whispered my name, I realized something else. She didn't sound like she meant it. And I didn't feel like I deserved to hear it. I didn't see her for 2 days after the cafe. I avoided the break room, the elevators, the hallways. At times I knew she passed through. I buried myself in spreadsheets, contracts, performance reports that blurred into one another. I went home, cooked dinner, laughed politely at Vivian's stories about the board, let her kiss me, slept next to her without touching. I kept telling myself I had made the right choice, had drawn the line, that the moment in the cafe had been the end of something, not the beginning. But every night, I found myself staring at the ceiling long after Vivian fell asleep, wondering what Lena would have said if I hadn't walked away, wondering what I would have done if she'd kissed me. The thoughts made me furious, not just at her, but at myself. I hated the part of me that still missed the taste of her name. On Wednesday, I found a note on my desk. No name, just handwriting I hadn't seen in years. Conference room B, 6:45. You can yell at me if you want. Just come. I crumpled it and tossed it in the trash, but I was still at my desk when the clock hit 6:43. At 6:44, I stood. At 6:45, I opened the door. Lena was already inside, alone, arms crossed, face unreadable. The room was dim, the lights from the city casting long shadows through the blinds. You came, she said. You said I could yell. Are you going to? Depends what you say. She stepped forward slow, careful. I thought about you every day for 5 years. Don't romanticize your guilt. I'm not. You ran, Lena. You didn't just leave. You disappeared. Do you know what that does to someone? Yes. Then why did you do it? Because I thought I was toxic. Because I thought I'd ruin you. You did. Her face twisted. And yet here we are. We shouldn't be, but we are. And that terrifies me. Why? Because I don't hate you anymore. She blinked. The silence between us snapped like a wire. Then what do you feel? I walked toward her slow like I was approaching a wound. I don't know, I whispered, but it's loud. I can be quiet if that helps. Don't you dare. Then what do you want from me? I want to stop thinking about you. Then kiss me. I froze. What? Kiss me. Get it out. Ruin the memory. Make it real and messy and wrong so it stops following you. That's not how this works. How does it work, Ava? Because I'm drowning in all the things I never said and all the things I still feel, and I don't know what to do with it anymore. You don't get to put this on me. I'm not. I'm giving you a choice. This is manipulation. This is honesty. For once, I stepped closer. You think one kiss is going to fix this? No. I think it'll tell the truth. And what if the truth is worse? Then we'll finally stop pretending. My hand moved before I could stop it. I reached up, curled my fingers into her jacket, and pulled her close. Her breath hitched. My heart slammed. Last chance, I said. To walk away, to lie. I'm tired of lying. And then I kissed her. Hard, furious, desperate. It wasn't soft. It wasn't sweet. It was a punishment, a question, a confession, all in one. She kissed me back like she was trying to memorize it, like she thought I'd vanish if she didn't hold on tight enough. Her hands were on my waist, then my face, then in my hair. We crashed into the edge of the table, breathless, messy, lost. I pulled back first, gasping. This changes nothing, I said. It changes everything, she whispered. I shoved her away. Don't ever touch me again. I won't. Good. Unless you ask me to. I stormed out, but my hands were still shaking. I drove home with the windows down, hoping the cold air would clear the fog from my head. It didn't. Vivian was already in bed when I walked in. She smiled, sleepy. "You're late. Work ran long. Everything okay?" "Yes. You sure?" "I'm tired." I got into bed beside her and faced the wall. Her hand slipped over my waist. "I missed you," she mumbled. "I miss me, too," I whispered back. She didn't hear, but I did. And I hated how true it felt. That night, I dreamed of Lena's mouth, her voice, the sound she made when I bit her bottom lip. I woke up sweating, angry, alive, and more lost than ever. The days that followed were chaos, but only inside me. On the surface, everything remained precisely as expected. I still woke up at 6:30. I still drank my coffee black. I still arrived at the office on time, sat in meetings beside my wife, nodded at the right moments, spoke when I was needed. But underneath it all, I was unraveling. Every time I saw Lena across the hallway in passing glances, sitting at her desk with her lip caught between her teeth, I remembered the taste of her. The way she kissed like she was desperate, like I was oxygen. And I hated how much that thought made my chest tighten. She didn't reach out again. No notes, no meetings. She gave me space. Like she meant it when she said she wouldn't touch me unless I asked. But that silence was louder than any apology. It was restraint and it was working. I started seeking her out without meaning to, finding excuses to pass her office. Holding eye contact a little too long in morning briefings, saying her name when I didn't need to. I told myself it meant nothing. That I was only watching her to confirm I hated her. That the heat twisting in my gut wasn't attraction. It was closure. Except closure doesn't slick your palms. It doesn't send a tremor through your voice. Vivian started to notice. Friday night, she studied me across the dinner table with that cool, calculating look I'd come to expect, the one she wore in negotiations when the numbers refused to align. "You've been distracted," she said. "I've got a lot going on, do you? The new client's a disaster. Lena's still finding her pace. You and she seem acquainted." I swallowed. "She's from my past, old friend." "Something like that. Should I be worried?" I looked her in the eye and said, "No." And in that moment, I didn't know if it was a lie or a plea. That night, we had sex, the kind that's quiet, practiced, choreographed. Her hands were warm, but distant. Her mouth moved in all the right ways, but I felt like a ghost inside my own body. When it was over, I went to the bathroom, stared at myself in the mirror and whispered, "What are you doing?" Saturday came with silence. Vivian left early for a meeting, and I wandered the house like it belonged to someone else. I checked my phone a dozen times. Nothing. I checked her office inbox. Still nothing. The space Lena had once invaded so easily was now a void, and I hated it. Around noon, I found myself outside her building. I don't even remember driving there, but there I was. She buzzed me in without asking. When I stepped inside, she didn't say anything. Just looked at me like I was both salvation and destruction. "I shouldn't be here," I said. "But you are. This can't happen again." "I know. So why did I come?" "You tell me." I walked past her, stood by the window. The city outside felt unreal. "I feel like I'm breaking or finally waking up." "I kissed you." "I know. And I still don't know what it means." "It means you're not done." I turned to face her. "What do you want from me?" "Honesty." "And then what?" "We destroy everything. Or we stop pretending everything's not already cracked." She moved closer. Her hand brushed mine. I didn't move away. "Ava," she whispered. "Tell me to stop." I didn't. Her mouth hovered near mine again, and this time I didn't pull back. We kissed slower than before. Not rage this time. Sorrow, memory, ache. Her hands framed my face like I might vanish. I pushed her against the wall, not because I wanted to control her, but because I couldn't control myself. I wanted her everywhere, against me, under me, inside every thought I tried to bury. She moaned into my mouth, and I hated how good it felt to be wanted like that. When I pulled away, I was breathless. "This is wrong, but real. Vivian doesn't love you like I do. You don't even know who I am anymore. Then let me relearn you. This isn't a love story. It was once that chapter ended, but we never closed the book. I left before it went further, barely. My hands shaking, heart thudding, lips swollen with guilt. On the drive home, I told myself I wouldn't go back, that it was the last time. But liars don't get to make promises, and I had just become one. Vivian was reading in bed when I walked in. "You look flushed," she said. It's hot out. We need to talk. My stomach flipped about what? The board wants to promote me again. It means more travel, more time away. And what do you want? You always. I nodded, smiled, kissed her, but inside I was screaming because I didn't know who I belonged to anymore, or if I ever truly had. Vivian left Monday morning with 3 suitcases, a phone full of meetings, and a kiss that barely touched my cheek. She didn't ask me to come with her. She never did anymore. We had grown into separate routines, separate spaces, separate silences that didn't feel like absence until someone else filled the gap. When she pulled out of the driveway, I stood at the window for a full minute longer than I meant to. Then I turned away and told myself today would be ordinary. But nothing was ordinary anymore. Not the way Lena looked at me in meetings. Not the sound of her voice across the room. Not the phantom echo of her hands on my skin when I lay in bed at night. I tried to avoid her, but fate or whatever cruel thing had its hand on my life kept placing her in my path. In the hallway, at the coffee machine, in the elevator where our arms brushed, and I didn't move away. You look tired, she said one morning, her voice soft. I'm not sleeping well because of me. Because of everything. If I left, she trailed off. I turned to her sharp. You'd really do that? Just disappear again. Her eyes darkened. Not without saying goodbye this time. I looked away. Don't leave. Just stop trying to make this more than it is. What is it then? A mistake I can't stop making. She didn't respond, just looked at me like I was breaking her. I wished it was enough to make her stop. That night, I worked late. The office was nearly empty. I was in the conference room alone when the door opened without a knock. Lena stepped in, closed it softly behind her. I know you said no more, she began. Then why are you here? Because I'm falling apart. That's not my problem, isn't it? I stood. You don't get to come in here and make this harder. I tried staying away. Not hard enough. Do you want me to go? I hesitated. She stepped closer. Tell me, Ava, just once. Do you want me to go? I couldn't speak. She was inches away, eyes flickering between my mouth and my eyes. My breathing shallow, my pulse wild. You don't answer because you know what it'll sound like, she said. Because you've already chosen. No, I whispered. Then prove it. Push me away. I can't. Exactly. She kissed me. I let her again. The kiss was rough, desperate. Hands tangled. Buttons undone. Sanity abandoned. I didn't care anymore. I wanted to forget. To disappear into her mouth, her scent, her body. I wanted to remember what it felt like to be wanted without condition, to feel alive. We didn't make it home. We barely made it to her office. The door locked behind us and the rest happened in silence. The kind that screams everything we couldn't say. Afterward, I lay on the couch in the dark, her fingers brushing softly along my back, and I felt something I hadn't in years. Loved, not admired, not respected, not tolerated, but wanted. This is going to ruin me, I whispered. Then let me fall with you. I turned to face her. You don't get to be sweet now. You already left once. And I've regretted it every day since. That's not enough. Then let me give you more. Like what? Like the truth. The real one. The reason I left. I froze. I thought you were just scared. I was, but not in the way you think. Then tell me. She swallowed hard. I got accepted to a program in another city. My mom made me choose between it and you. She said I'd throw my future away if I stayed. So, I didn't stay. You didn't even ask me to come. I didn't think you would. I would have gone anywhere. I know that now, but I was 17 and afraid of everything. Especially how much I loved you. I looked at her for a long time. You broke me and I've never stopped trying to fix that version of you in my head. She's gone. Then let me fall for the one in front of me. What about Vivian? What about her? She's my wife. Is she your future? That one hurt. I stood. I have to go. Don't. I have to then come back. Don't ask me that. Why? Because I might. I left before I could hear her answer, my skin still buzzing, my guilt clawing at my throat. When I got home, the silence was heavier than usual. I walked through the house like a stranger. Sat on the edge of the bed. Checked my phone. A text from Vivian. Call me when you get a chance. I miss your voice. I didn't respond. Instead, I stared into the dark, wondering who I was becoming. A liar, a cheater, a woman unraveling. But most terrifying of all, a woman who had finally remembered what love was supposed to feel like. I stopped dreaming after that night. Or maybe I just stopped remembering. I'd wake in the middle of darkness, drenched in sweat, Lena's name between my lips and guilt clawing at my ribs like a second skin. Every breath tasted like betrayal. Every quiet room felt like a confession waiting to erupt. And still, I couldn't stop. I told myself it was a one-time thing. I told myself I had control, that I was protecting something, but I didn't even know what anymore. I was slipping fast and deep into something that felt like both danger and home. Lena didn't reach out the next day or the day after, and that silence was a different kind of torture. I checked my phone obsessively, opened our old messages, and stared at the blank space where words should have been. I wasn't sure what I was waiting for. An apology, a promise, a second invitation. Instead, I got Vivian. Back early, unannounced. I found her in the kitchen when I got home, barefoot, pouring wine like nothing had changed. "You're home," I said, heartbeat already spiraling. "Surprise," she smiled. Flight got bumped up. She kissed my cheek. "You smell like lavender." "That new?" I froze. "Lena's body wash." I shrugged. "Maybe something from the office." She stared at me too long. I couldn't breathe. That night I showered twice. Scrubbed myself raw. Wore the perfume she liked. Kissed her when she pulled me close. Let her hands roam. Even when my body flinched at every tender touch, I let her love me while I whispered someone else's name inside my head. In the morning, she was gone again. Another board meeting, another opportunity, another escape, and I was back in the silence. I didn't see Lena at the office for 3 days. They said she was working remotely on a campaign proposal. I told myself I didn't care, that I needed the space, that it was better this way. But by the third night, I couldn't sleep. I drove. The city felt different now. Too loud in the wrong ways, too quiet in the ones that mattered. I stopped outside her building and didn't move. Just stared. Lights on in the 5th window. Her window. I almost turned back, but I didn't. She opened the door like she'd been waiting. "You came," she said. "I shouldn't have, but you did." I stepped inside. "Why did you disappear?" "You said not to touch you again." "I didn't say to disappear." "You needed space." "I gave it." "Then why do I feel like I'm losing my mind?" "Because you're lying to yourself." She stepped closer. Her voice dropped. "You still love me." "I can't." "But you do." "I'm married unhappily." "That doesn't make this right." "No," she said softly. "But it makes it real." I sat down on her couch. She handed me tea. I didn't drink it. I looked at her like she was the storm and the shelter all at once. "I don't know how to be around you," I whispered. "Then don't be around me," she said. "Be with me." "I don't know if I can." "Then stay broken." I flinched. "That's cruel." "It's honest. You're holding your life together with threads, Ava. You're smiling through something that's killing you. And for what? Stability or fear? Both. What would you do if you weren't afraid?" I didn't answer. "You'd leave," she said. "You'd be with someone who sees you, who remembers your laugh. Who knows the difference between your silence and your sadness." That's not fair to Vivian. What's fair is that she married someone who belonged to someone else. She didn't know that. But you did. That one landed deep. I looked away. "I thought I could forget you." "And did you?" "No." "Then stop punishing both of us." "I don't know how to start again." "Let me show you." I stood, walked to the window. The city buzzed below like a world I didn't recognize. I was tired of pretending to belong in it. "I'm scared," I whispered. "Me, too," she said. "But I'd rather be scared with you than safe without you." I turned. We didn't kiss this time. We just looked at each other for what felt like a year. The kind of looking you can't do with anyone else. The kind that strips you down without touching. I left before dawn, but I didn't feel empty. Not this time. I felt seen. Back at home, Vivian was already up. Coffee. Phone call. Her eyes flicked to me as I walked in. "Where were you?" she asked casually. "I couldn't sleep. Went for a drive." "All night?" "Yeah, you could have called." "Didn't want to wake you." "Ava." Her voice dropped. I froze. "Is there someone else?" My stomach dropped. "No," I said too fast, too flat. She stared at me and I knew. She didn't believe it. But she let it go. For now. "Okay," she said. "I believe you." Another lie in a house full of them. I went upstairs undressed, lay in bed, and stared at the ceiling. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think, couldn't decide which truth was worse, that I had betrayed her or that I didn't feel bad enough to stop. The house felt heavier after Vivian's question, the air waited. Every room hummed with the echo of things I hadn't said. Each step felt like crossing glass. She didn't raise it again, not directly, but I could feel her watching me more closely. Not with love, with suspicion. She skimmed my phone when she thought I wasn't looking, asked vague questions about my schedule, called midday just to hear my voice. I smiled. I pressed a kiss to her forehead. I said everything right, but my lies were getting thinner and she was getting smarter. At work, Lena kept her distance in public. But behind closed doors, it was different. I started slipping into her office between meetings. She'd lock the door. I'd kiss her like I hadn't already memorized her mouth. We didn't speak much during those moments. Just hands, lips, the sound of breath between confessions. It became a rhythm, addictive, dangerous. I told myself we were careful, that no one knew, that Vivian couldn't possibly suspect the truth. But guilt doesn't care about logic. It builds under your skin, pulsing louder every day. Friday afternoon, I got a calendar invite. Lena conference room C715. Just us. I knew what it meant. I showed up anyway. She was already there, leaning against the window, arms crossed, eyes unreadable. "You came," she said. "Of course. You always say that like it surprises you because it still does." I stepped closer. "Are you okay?" She didn't answer, just looked at me like I was a question she already knew the answer to but didn't want to admit. "What is this?" she asked finally. "A mistake," I said. "A habit, a lifeline. And when does it become more than that?" "When I let it." "And will you?" I swallowed. "Not yet." She didn't look hurt, just tired. "I want to be with you," she said. "Not just like this. Not just when it's safe and hidden." "I know." "Then leave her." "It's not that simple." "Why not?" "Because she loves me. And I don't because she's my wife and I'm the one who makes you feel like yourself." I closed my eyes. "Please don't make me choose." "But you already are." I stepped forward, pulled her into my arms. "Let me have this just a little longer." She kissed me like it hurt, like she knew she was borrowing borrowed time. When I left that night, I found Vivian sitting in the dark in the living room. Wine glass, silent phone, eyes sharp. "Late," she said. "Work ran long." "Where?" "Conference room." "Alone." I hesitated. "Yes." She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "You forget how well I know your voice when you lie." I froze. "Vivian. I followed you last week." My stomach dropped. "What?" I had a feeling. "So, I followed you. You're spying on me now. Don't flip this, Ava." "And what did you see?" "Not enough, but enough." "Enough for what?" "To know you're not mine anymore." Her voice didn't crack. It was cold, controlled, terrifying. I stepped back. "It's not what you think." "Then say it." "There's someone else." The silence after those words stretched like a noose. "How long?" "I don't know." "How many times?" "Too many." She stood, walked past me like she couldn't bear to look. "Was it her?" I didn't answer. That was answer enough. She stopped at the stairs. "You're a coward." "I know. I gave you everything. You gave me safety. And that wasn't enough." It was until it wasn't. She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She just walked up the stairs and closed the door. I stood in the dark, breathless, alone again. The next day, Lena found me outside the office, sitting in my car, staring at nothing. "She knows," I said. "I figured." I told her. How'd she take it? Like I killed something. "Did you?" "Maybe." She reached for my hand. "What happens now?" "I don't know, Ava." I looked at her. "Say it," she whispered. "Say you want me." "I want you." Her lips trembled. "Then let's stop hiding." "It's not that easy." "It is. Or it's never going to be." "I need time. I've already waited 5 years." I leaned over, kissed her, not for comfort, for clarity. And when I pulled back, I knew I had already chosen. Now I just had to live with it. Vivian didn't sleep in our bed again. The next morning, the closet was half empty. Her suitcase sat by the door, upright, zipped. She didn't cry. She didn't rage. She moved through the house like a stranger wearing her own skin. I made coffee. She didn't take any. I offered to talk. She shook her head. There's nothing left to say. Vivian, I don't. Her voice was still. Whatever you're about to say is for you, not for me. I swallowed. I never meant to hurt you, but you did. I know. She turned to me finally. Her eyes didn't shimmer with tears. They burned with precision. You gave me loyalty wrapped in silence. And now I realize there was never love. It was fear. I flinched. She didn't just come back and ruin this. Ava, you let her. I had no defense. She was right. She picked up her suitcase. I'll send the papers by Friday. Papers. You wanted out, didn't you? I didn't know what I wanted. You did. You just didn't want to be the one who ended it. And with that, she was gone. The house felt colder without her. Not because I missed her, but because I finally understood what it meant to break someone who never asked to be part of your unfinished story. I didn't go to work that day. I lay on the floor and stared at the ceiling, wondering who I was now. A wife without a wife. A woman without a map. Lena called. I didn't answer. She texted, I'm outside. I didn't move. 10 minutes later, my doorbell rang. I opened it with swollen eyes and silence. She stepped inside and saw the half-empty house. She's gone, she said. Yes. Did you want her to be? I don't know. Do you want me to be here? I don't know that either. She nodded, quiet, patient. Do you want to be alone? I hesitated. No, then I'll stay. She made tea, sat with me on the floor, didn't ask for more than I could give. For the first time in weeks, my breath came easy. That night, she slept in the guest room, not touching, just near. And I dreamed of high school, of the first time she held my hand under the bleachers and told me she'd never let go. Morning came soft. No alarms, no walls. I made breakfast while she fed the cat. We laughed. It felt stolen, but real. At the office, things cracked fast. Vivian was gone, but not silent. Her assistant had been informed. The whispers started instantly. A marriage dissolved. A scandal not yet public. People watched me closer, some with pity, some with judgment. Lena didn't meet my eyes during meetings. We were careful, but careful still leaves traces. On Wednesday, the CEO called me into his office. You and Vivian separated. I'm sorry to hear that. Thank you. He paused. I don't care about personal drama, Ava. But I care about distractions, and right now the office is watching. Your leadership matters more than ever. Understood. I suggest you take a few days. Clear your head. Reset. I'm fine. Then make sure you stay that way. The warning was clear. I nodded. Left, shaken. That night, Lena made pasta. We ate in silence. I could feel her wanting to ask if I was okay, but she waited. After dinner, I stood behind her while she washed dishes, wrapped my arms around her waist, rested my cheek on her back. Thank you. I whispered. For what? Not asking me to be ready. I don't want you ready. I want you honest. Then here's the truth. I said, I'm terrified. I've lost everything I thought defined me. And all I know for sure is that when you're near, I don't feel lost. She turned to my arms. Then start here with me. We'll figure out the rest. I kissed her. Slow, soft, no urgency. Just two people starting again, even with the wreckage behind them still smoldering. Later in bed, she traced circles on my back and asked, do you think you'll regret this? Sometimes, but not now. Not now. That's enough. And for one night, it was. For the first time in years, I didn't wake up to someone I had to perform for. No carefully rehearsed affection, no expectations. Lena stirred beside me, her face soft with sleep, one arm thrown across my stomach like she'd never let go again. I watched her breathe for minutes, memorized it, the quiet, the warmth, the way her hair curled slightly against her cheekbone. We didn't speak at first, just moved around each other in the kitchen, barefoot and half smiling. She made coffee. I burned toast. We laughed. It felt so painfully normal, I almost didn't know what to do with it. What happens now? I asked finally. She looked at me over her mug. We live and the world outside can wait. But it didn't, because by noon, the world was already knocking. A call from my lawyer. Vivian had officially filed. Terms, assets, silence. I read through it all with a numb kind of clarity. There was no anger in her demands. Just control, precision, a reminder that even in ending, she would not be the one left exposed. I didn't tell Lena everything. Just enough. She filed. I said, "You okay?" "I don't know." She pulled me onto the couch, held me without speaking. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just breathed into her shoulder until the knots in my chest softened. That evening we went out a bookstore, a cafe, her hand in mine under the table, a small thing but monumental. I caught someone looking once, a woman across the room. Curious, not cruel. But I still flinched. Lena noticed. "We don't have to hide anymore," she said. "It's not that simple." "It could be. Not when the person I was married to is also my boss." She winced. "Right. I'll resign. You don't have to do that for me." "I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for us." "Will you miss it?" "Not like I'd miss you." She smiled then. A real one. The kind I hadn't seen in years. We drove home with the windows down, music low. I felt 17 again. Not because of her, but because for once I didn't feel broken. But peace never lasts long. The next morning, I found a message in my inbox. Anonymous, cruel, accusatory. "The whole office knows you left the Ice Queen for your high school flame." Pathetic. My chest tightened. I didn't respond, but I started to notice the stares, the muttered words in hallways. The shift in tone when I entered a room. Vivian hadn't needed to say anything. The silence she left behind was enough for people to invent their own truths. Lena stayed steady. She walked beside me without flinching. "Even when people turn to look, they'll forget," she said. Eventually, do you believe that? I believe in us. Even when they don't, especially then. I wanted to hold on to that. I tried, but doubt seeps in through the smallest cracks. At night, I woke from dreams where Vivian stood at the foot of my bed whispering, "You threw it all away." And maybe I had, but for the first time, I didn't regret it. That week, I wrote my resignation letter, typed, signed, sealed. I handed it in without ceremony. The CEO nodded. "Understood," he said. "You've been valuable here." "Thank you." "Will Vivian be retaliating?" "Not professionally." "Good." He paused. "But if I were you, I'd take some space. Let the dust settle." "I intend to." I left the office that day with nothing but a box of photos and a silence I'd chosen. Lena met me outside. She took my hand. "You did it," she said. "We did it." We went home. Made dinner, opened wine, celebrated like we hadn't just lit fire to our careers. That night, we danced in the living room. No music, just the sound of two hearts finally beating in rhythm. I buried my face in her neck. "Are we terrible people?" "No," she said. "We're just two people who stopped pretending. What if it all crashes down? Then we rebuild." "You make it sound easy." "Nothing about this has been easy, but it's been worth it." I kissed her long, slow, certain. And in that moment, I believed her. Even if the world burned around us, at least now we were standing in the fire together. The first week without the office felt like exile and liberation stitched into the same breath. Mornings were quieter. I stopped setting alarms. I let Lena wake me with her fingers in my hair, her lips on my shoulder, her sleepy smile pressed against my spine. She made coffee the way I liked. I cooked pancakes she burned on purpose so I'd laugh. We walked in the park. We read on the couch. We made love in the middle of the day in every room of the house. Like time had finally stopped asking us to apologize. The silence that used to haunt me now held us softly. I thought that maybe finally the chaos was behind us. Then the email arrived. I almost didn't open it. The subject line was vague. No sender name, just "You don't know everything." I clicked. There was only one line, a date. 5 years ago. A time, a location, and an attachment. My stomach dropped. I opened the file. It was a scanned letter. My name sat at the top, Ava. The handwriting was unmistakable, Lena's. I blinked, confused, and started reading. I waited. I called. I begged them to let me see you, but they wouldn't. They said you were done. That you'd moved on. So I left. I left because I thought I didn't matter to you anymore. And it broke me. I'm sorry. I should have fought harder. My lungs stalled because I'd never seen that letter. It never reached me. I remember that day in pieces, me at home, wrecked, sobbing on the floor. Vivian came over with takeout, told me I had to let Lena go. "She's already gone," she said. "Ava, she left you. You have to stop waiting for someone who didn't fight for you." But Lena had fought. I just hadn't known. Someone made sure I wouldn't. I checked the file details, fingers shaking. The metadata stared back, the scan was recent. The original postmarked and dated from 5 years ago. My name, my address, and a stamp in the corner. I remember that stamp. It was from a small town outside the city where Lena's aunt lived, where she'd gone after graduation. I felt dizzy. I stared at the email again. There was no signature, no sender, just that line. You don't know everything, Ava. Lena's voice pulled me back. She walked into the room holding 2 mugs. She saw my face and stopped. What is it? Did you write me a letter? What? After graduation. Did you write me something and send it to my house? Her eyes flickered. Yes. You got it, didn't you? No, but I left it at the mailbox myself. I drove across the city to do it. I waited for weeks. You never responded. I never got it. I showed her the screen. She stared. Her hand trembled. Oh my God. Someone hid it. But who? Then she stopped and I saw it happen. The realization, the memory, the connection. Vivian, she said, my throat closed. You think she took it? She knew I was trying to contact you. She threatened me. Said if I kept pushing, she'd make things worse. She was there that day. She told me to let you go because she made sure I thought you'd already done it. I sat down hard. The ground felt like it shifted beneath me. 5 years of silence. 5 years of heartbreak. Built on a lie. She stole 5 years from us. I whispered. She planned it. She controlled the entire narrative. I felt sick. Lena sat beside me, took my hand. We're here now. We found our way back. But she did that. She manipulated everything. She got what she wanted. And now she's losing it. What if she still has more? What do you mean? This email. Who sent it? Why now? Lena's face darkened. Someone wants us to know. But why? To warn us or to destroy us? The doorbell rang. We both froze. Are you expecting someone? I shook my head. Lena stood slowly, walked to the front, looked through the peephole. There's no one there. She opened it. A small envelope sat on the doormat. My name in bold handwriting just like the letter. She picked it up and handed it to me. I opened it with shaking fingers. Inside a photograph, me and Lena kissing outside the cafe last week. A second note typed, be careful who you trust. My blood ran cold. Someone was watching us. Someone wanted us to know they were. I looked at Lena. This isn't over. She nodded, jaw tight. No, it's just beginning. The envelope sat between us on the kitchen table like a loaded gun. Lena hadn't moved since we opened it. The photo was still in her hand, our kiss frozen in black and white. My stomach churned. Someone had been following us, watching us, waiting for the right moment to strike. I reread the note for the 3rd time. Be careful who you trust, Lena whispered. What if this isn't about us? What if it never was? I looked at her, throat tight. Then who is it about? Her answer was a breath. Vivian, we didn't sleep that night. Every creak in the house made us flinch. I tried to act calm, but my heart stayed in my throat. Lena paced the hallway, checking windows, locking doors again and again. In the quiet between her steps, I wondered if this was punishment. Not for the affair, but for thinking we could ever have peace. The next morning, I found an email from a private address. No subject, just another photo. This time, me alone on the street 2 days ago, looking over my shoulder. I hadn't even realized I'd done it, but someone had. The timestamp was exact. Whoever this was, they were close. They wanted us to know. You should go stay with a friend, I told Lena. No, she said sharp. I'm not leaving you alone in this. The pressure built slowly, like a pot starting to boil. Lena's car was keyed 2 days later. Then my tires were slashed. Our front door was left open one morning, though neither of us had touched it. There were no break-ins, nothing taken, just the reminder someone had been there. Someone could come back. She wouldn't. I whispered one night, unable to stop the thought. Vivian wouldn't do this. Lena turned to me, eyes hard. You don't know what people are capable of when they lose control. We stopped going out. Curtains stayed drawn. I didn't answer calls unless I knew the number. At night, I woke to Lena holding me tighter than before. Like if she let go, I'd vanish. But then the letter came. This one was different. Typed neat. Professional. It wasn't sent to me. It was sent to the head of the board at my old job. A formal complaint alleging misconduct, saying I had begun a relationship with a subordinate, that I'd used my position to manipulate someone into an affair, that I'd caused the breakup of a marriage inside the company. It was anonymous, but the language was familiar, sharp, cold, like someone who knew exactly how the system worked. I got the call an hour later. "Ava, we need to speak with you regarding a document that came across our desk." I hung up and screamed. Lena ran in, grabbed my shoulders. "What happened?" I told her everything. And for the first time, I saw fear in her eyes. "This is how she wins," I said. "Even after I left, even after she walked away, she still gets to control how the story ends." Lena pulled me into her arms. "Not if we tell the truth. All of it. You think anyone will believe us?" "I don't care if they believe us. I care if we believe each other." I held on to that because it was all I had. But the next day, the story broke. It wasn't in the press, but in whispers, office group chats, emails, former coworkers, former friends. My name now meant betrayal, immorality, abuse of power. No one said it outright, but I knew the looks, the silence, the sudden unfollows. "I can't fix this," I told Lena. "Then let it burn," she said. "Let it all burn if it means we're free." I looked at her, really looked, and I realized she wasn't afraid of losing status or jobs or approval. She was only afraid of losing me. "Then let it burn," I whispered back. But deep down, I knew someone was still holding the match, and they hadn't finished yet. The call came at 9:47 a.m. I was halfway through pretending to read when the name lit up my screen. Vivian. I stared at it for a full 10 seconds before I answered. "Hello." Silence. Then her voice. Calm, measured, sharp as ever. "We need to talk." I didn't respond. My throat was tight. My heart pounding, she continued. "I'm at the hotel downtown, room 1206. Come alone. You owe me that much." She hung up before I could speak. Lena watched me set the phone down like it was a grenade. "Was it her?" I nodded. "She wants to meet alone." "Absolutely not." She said I owe her. "You owe her nothing." "Yes," I said softly. "But I need to know what else she's planning." Lena stared at me, jaw tense. "Then I'm coming with you. I'll go in first. 5 minutes, then you follow." She didn't like it, but she didn't argue. The hotel was cold and quiet. A weekday morning with no noise, no witnesses. I walked the hallway like it might collapse under my feet. Knocked once. The door opened immediately. Vivian stood there, perfect as ever. Tailored blazer, red lipstick, eyes like ice. She let me in without a word. The room smelled like expensive perfume and something rotting beneath it. "You look tired," she said. I sat down. "Why now, Vivian?" "Why, the letters, the photos, the threats." "I didn't send any threats." "You filed a complaint." I told the truth. "You manipulated it." "I reported unethical behavior." "That's not manipulation." "You never cared about ethics before." "No," she said, pouring herself coffee, "but now it suits me." I stood. "What do you want from me?" "I want you to remember who you were before her." "I was miserable before her." "You were mine." "I was convenient." Her eyes flared. "You think she loves you? You think this version of you is real?" "It's a phase, Ava. It's a breakdown dressed as a revelation." I shook my head. "You lied to me. You stole a letter. You decided for both of us. I saved you." "No, you trapped me." She stepped closer and for a second I saw something unravel in her. "I gave you everything. My name, my protection, my world. And now you want to burn it all down because I walked away." "No," she said, "because you humiliated me." I stepped back. This was never about love, was it? It was about control. She didn't deny it. Just sipped her coffee and smiled. "You'll regret this, Ava." "Maybe, but at least I'll be free." The door opened behind me. Lena walked in. Vivian blinked. "You brought her?" "No," I said. "She came for me." Lena took my hand. "We're done here," she said. Vivian laughed. "You think this ends because you say so?" "This is only the beginning." "Then we're not afraid of beginnings anymore," I said. We walked out together. I didn't look back. In the elevator, Lena squeezed my hand. "You okay?" "Not yet, but I will be." That night, we found our home ransacked, drawers open, photos shredded, a single message scratched into the mirror with lipstick. Some things don't stay buried. Lena called the police. I sat on the floor numb. The detective asked if we suspected anyone. We gave a name, but we knew proving it would be harder. Still, something shifted that night. I didn't break. I didn't run. I stood in the wreckage and chose love again. Even when it cost everything, because some love isn't a story. It's a war. And I was ready to fight for mine. It took 3 days to clean the house. Not just the mess, but the feeling, the fear, the invasion. Every room felt like it had been touched by something toxic. I replaced the mirror in the hallway. Lena painted over the scratches on the door. We boxed the ripped photos and burned them in the fireplace. Watching the flames eat those memories didn't make it easier, but it made it final. The police didn't have enough. Vivian had an alibi, of course. She always did. But we gave them everything. Emails, letters, the photo of the lipstick message. They said they'd investigate. We knew it wouldn't go far. Vivian was careful, too careful, and we were tired of fighting shadows. So, we stopped. We didn't stop being afraid, but we stopped letting fear run our lives. I started therapy. Lena started painting again. We moved out of the house 2 weeks later. A smaller place with sunlight that hit the windows just right in the morning. We didn't tell anyone where we went. We didn't need to. We told each other. That was enough. The day the divorce was finalized, I sat on the floor with the papers in my lap. It didn't feel like freedom. It felt like grief. Lena didn't say anything. She just held me until it passed. I got a job offer in a different city. Something small, a non-profit, no suits, no gossip, no ghosts. I almost said no, but Lena said, maybe it's time we start fresh. Not just survive, live. So, we packed. We drove 6 hours in silence and old music. We signed a lease on a tiny apartment with cracked tiles and ugly curtains and a balcony that overlooked a grocery store. And it felt like home because she was there. The first morning in the new place, I found her standing in the kitchen in one of my shirts, barefoot, sunlight in her hair. I froze watching her. Because for the first time, I didn't see a memory. I didn't see guilt. I saw a future. What? She asked, smiling. Nothing, I said. Everything. She walked over and kissed me like we'd been doing it forever. Like we never stopped. That afternoon I sat down and wrote, not a resignation letter, not a legal defense, just the truth. I wrote about Vivian, about the silence, about the 5 years lost to a lie. I wrote about Lena, about the pain, the love, the fear, the way we clawed our way back to each other through the wreckage. I didn't post it. I didn't need to. It wasn't for them. It was for me. For the girl who never stopped waiting. For the woman who finally stopped running. One night, months later, we danced in the kitchen to no music. Lena rested her head on my shoulder and whispered, still afraid. I shook my head. Not anymore. She smiled. Good, because I'm not going anywhere. I pulled her closer. Promise. Forever, she said. And for the first time, I believed it. Not because she said it, but because we'd earned it. Because some love isn't about destiny or fate or perfect timing. Some love is laid down slowly, brick by brick, scar beside scar, fingers laced in the dark. And sometimes it endures. Ours did. If you like this and want to support the channel in a special way, tap the thanks button below, the one with the heart and $sign. With super thanks, you can make a direct contribution that helps me keep making great videos for you.